hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Saskia and I am a second year psychology student at the University of Southampton. By the time this video goes up, I will have finished second year, but by the time I'm filming it we haven't technically, which means that my opinions aren't fully formed, but I don't really have any more opinions to form. What I'm going to do is tier rank all of the modules I've done this year, which is the same as I did last year. I put the one from last year on the cards. Just to give you an idea of how bad they are, because I've done a video on like talking you through the modules, so this one is more just do they suck or not. Hint, most of them really do just suck. They are not the finest. So we are using tier maker again. I've got the same tiers. We've got best of a bad bunch, which I think there'll be one that goes in there and only just. This was tolerable. We've just got absolute shit show and not even a module. So the modules I did this year, we have semester 1 I did social psych, language and memory, research methods 3, and then our optional module was intro to health psych. That was kind of a mistake. Then this semester we've done empirical studies 2, developmental psychology, perception, and then my optional module was criminological psychology. So we'll start with semester 1, I think, and we have social psychology. See, it could go either this was tolerable or because the content itself was nice, but the lecturers weren't good. The assessment method for the journal was dumb, and also like the essays were reused questions from last year, and I also think I probably did better on the essays than they think I did. I think we'll put it in this was tolerable purely because I don't think there'll be many modules that make it up to that level. I don't think many things will make it past purely because I have hated most of them. I have language and memory. Language and memory is a difficult one because the language bit was kind of fine. Like, it wasn't interesting, I didn't enjoy the content, but it was fine. The assessment method was correct. We did short answer questions and it made sense. Memory, the content was easy, and I kind of liked the lecturer, and like the content was good. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't any harder than A level. As in, you'd think in second year of your degree things would be harder than A level, but no. And then the assessment method, the problem with the assessment method for memory. So I did vlog it, but basically we had to generate and like make up an entire study on a topic within memory. So in the exam we were given working memory or remembering surprises. We were given 8 hours to do it, but we were also told we had to prepare for it, which made it a coursework rather than an actual exam, which then means it should have been a coursework, not an exam. And I spent so long on it. Nothing I said was technically wrong. Like, there was 1 or 2 things I didn't fully justify, and I don't agree with my grade. As in, like, this is one of the only exams that we actually got feedback. As in, like, she actually read our stuff and told us what was good about it. Whereas, like, social psych, they literally just gave you a grade. So I just got, like, a 72 and they were like, yeah, fair enough. Why did I get that grade? This one, like, they at least tried to justify it, but I only really had, like, 2 negative comments. And it was like, you didn't fully explain why you've used this method of measuring something. And I could have done more of the intro, but also she gave us a word limit of she gave us a recommended word count of like 2,000 words, or like 2,500, and mine was at 3,600. I disagree with that, because like I got very similar grades to people who did significantly less than me. As in, we had to write like a statement of impact and an ethics statement. My ethics statement was like 2 pages, my statement of impact was a page. People got the same grade as me when their statement of impact was like a line and their ethics statement was like 3 words. I disagree with that, basically. So language and memory I think will go in air. It could be in shit show, but the thing that stops it from being in shit show is the language section, which was actually kind of good. I mean, I don't understand language, I couldn't tell you anything about it, but the way it was assessed made sense. The first 2 weeks of lectures were beautiful, and it was just the last part that it was the memory that let them down. And I also thought it would kind of be harder than what you do in A-level, because that's kind of what you'd expect from a degree, but apparently not. Things apparently don't get harder than A-level. That's as difficult as things get. So we then have See, we have research method 3, and the thing is, this sucked, but was actually kind of good. As in, like, it could honestly even go in best of a bad bunch, because here's the thing, it's all stats, it's gross content, but the lecturer was good. Last year in Research Methods 1, we had 2 lecturers, one of them was awful, one of them was really good. The really good one we had for Research Methods 3. Beautiful, incredible. The exam itself, though, the problem was I don't think it could have been done in the 2 hours. I think we had 2 hours or 2.5 hours, and like, I barely finished. I don't have extra time, I don't have any like processing issues, anything like that. And I really struggled to finish the exam on time. As in, I don't think I had like 3 minutes at the end to look through all my answers. That didn't work. So, see, it could go in, I think it will go in this was tolerable, purely because of the exam. As in, we also actually, no, it will stay in this was tolerable, and here's my justification. We did MCQs that were worth like 30% of our grade or something, and I got a raw mark of, it was either 85 or 90. It was only worth like 20% of the grade. It would have been nice if they'd just given that to us, but no, I got put down in normal distribution to a 72 because other people did well. So that got pulled down to a 72. I don't even want to know how I actually did in the exam, because I don't want to look at my raw mark, because in first year my raw mark was an 86 and I got pulled down to 66. Normal distribution, I could make a whole video about how dumb it is, but like, I don't want to even know my raw mark, because I could have got a raw percentage of 90% and they would be fine pulling me all the way down because I did just as well as other people. Like, because I was in the middle of the bell curve, I got pulled down. So like, unless you're in the top 5% of the class, it doesn't matter how you do. As in, like, in a module last year, I was conveniently in the top 5% of the class, so I got pulled up. Well, like, I was in the top part of the normal middle curve, but I got pulled up. But like, if you're in the middle, if you're of average intelligence or like just slightly above average, it doesn't matter if you do well because you get pulled down again. So that was disappointing. Then Intro to Health Psych just sucked. Like, it can't go in not even a module because it technically was a module, but it might as well have not been a module, because it did just suck. Like, the content, boring. Can I tell you what health psychology really is? No, not particularly. The content is just not interesting. Like, I don't think I learned anything. I don't really know what a health psychologist does. And I don't really care what they do. Like, we had to design an intervention and that was fair enough. But my intervention, like, my feedback for my intervention was a bit confusing, and like, I think I did better than they think I did. Yeah, and also like, they mark it odd. So like, I think I got told that I had like no errors in APA, but my APA was still only given at a 72. And like, if I had no errors, surely it's not a 72 because a 72 indicates I got things wrong. So yeah, don't like that. Didn't like the fact that we had group work, but the group work is non-assessed, so I'll let that one slide. And the final assessment, fuming about that. First of all, 3 essays of 750 words. First question was fine, that was easy. Third question was fine, that was easy. And I got an 87 in the third question, so I do like that one. Second question, right? I said nothing wrong. I said the exact same as everyone else in the course. The only thing that I did, there's nothing I did objectively wrong. It was about placebos, and I said that they were inert substances. So I got docked because she didn't like that definition, which fair enough, it's a bit old, but it's not incorrect. And then I reached the conclusion that like, placebos don't actually work very well. But I gave evidence for my conclusion, and she basically said, you reached the wrong conclusion. Which isn't really possible, because I'm not gonna lie, we had 8 hours, so for 3 questions, we're doing two and a bit hours on each question. I can't read all of the literature ever on placebos to reach a full conclusion in 750 words. So I got an incredibly low grade for that, like too embarrassingly low to even share. Which means that like, I got a 72 in question 1 and 87 in the last question, and such a low mark in that it pulled me like right down. It was a waste of my time. I hated that. So that's semester 1. Semester 1's looking a bit good actually, because we have 2 things in this was tolerable. Although, did I actually like social psych more than language and memory? No, I don't think so, but the assessment of language and memory just irks me so much. that it has to go below social psych, I think. I mean, I'm sure I'll regret this. Social psych and language and memory are kind of on par. Social psych content is more interesting. Essays were good, journals were bad. Language and memory, language was good, but I still don't understand it, so clearly it wasn't that good. Memory was bad because it was just the same as A-level, and then memory assessment was bad. So like language and memory is slightly worse. We then have semester 2. Semester 2 I did empirical studies, developmental psychology, perception and criminological psychology. I'm still technically doing them because it's, when I'm filming this, it's like midway through May. Our exams are in June. We've only got 2 exams. We've got developmental and perception, and I have problems with both of them. So we'll start with empirical purely because it is the first one that I've got here. And if you do this module, you know where it's going. It's not a module. It's the worst thing we've ever done. As in, like, it's kind of an easy grade, but you're not taught anything, which means it's not a module. There are no lectures, there are no videos. You get a set of e-tutorials, PowerPoint slides, walking you through how to do something, and then you write 4 reports. That's it. That's what you do. It sucks. They mark things wrong objectively, as in like my first kind of piece of coursework I gave in, they objectively marked wrong. The second one was worth 3%. Why give me a piece of work that's worth 3%? Why not just not do it? And then we also have to do quizzes, and the quizzes are worth like 1%, and the quizzes are based off things that like pretty much aren't even in the slides that they give you. So like, I literally have the slides open with the quizzes. I'm control F'ing the question and you cannot find the answer. That's not fun. And also we do obviously have problems because this is the module I had to submit a complaint about because the lecturer caused many issues with me because we have to do group work, and one of my things on my student support sheet is about group work, and they basically said, nah, we don't care, it's unfair to other people. I was like, that's a bit rude. So basically that sucks. Like, I mean, at least we don't have an exam, but also would have been nice if we'd been taught something. Like, in the mid-module feedback, everyone was like, can you teach us something? We do not understand this. And they're like, sorry, but this module isn't a teaching module. Or like, sorry you feel that way, but we're not going to do that. Like, just no. They were basically like, we don't care what you've said, because it's worked for other people. But I'm like, I'm not going to lie, I don't think it has worked for other people because our grade average for the class isn't looking perfect. Like, it's not looking as good as it did in other semesters and in other cohorts, so clearly it's not working that well. Like, it's a horrible module. Like, it's kind of an easy grade, but it does just suck. And it's just not really a module. So we then have, let's do developmental psychology. Developmental has so much potential, as in so much. The content, beautiful, actually interesting. I care about the development. I don't really care about like early perception because I'm not a massive cognition girl, but the content, interesting, nice, but the assessment methods are just wrong. So we had to do a critical evaluation, which I probably vlogged myself doing some of it, but like didn't really make sense. It was called like science in the media, but we were evaluating like the media presentation, but also the actual article itself, like the actual journal, but like didn't make sense. We had 1,000 words. The only thing that I did like wrong in mine was that I went for 2 obvious points, but like surely if you've got 1,000 words and you have to critique an article, you would critique the bigger problems with the article, not the weird niche things. Because they were like, oh, really nicely like written up, but you picked obvious points. I was like, well, yeah, because they're the problems with the article. They're the big issues. So like the grade I got wasn't bad. I got a 68. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think I could have done better. As in like they gave us a list, not a list, like they gave us like a breakdown of how many people got each grade, and only 6 people got a first. I don't know why. Because in other modules, I've known 6 other people that got a first, and I know like 10 people. So like, I don't know why they were so harsh. Like I have heard from other students in like other years that developmental does just mark disgustingly harsh, which means that the content is phenomenal, but they mark it so horribly because like it could be in best of a bad bunch, but I think it will have to go intolerable purely because of the assessment methods. We then have perception. I hate perception. I dislike cognition. Like, I like memory and I like thinking. Perception to me has nothing to do with psychology. It's pretty much biology of the eye, biology of the ear, and like this is a psychological illusion, but it's based off the way that your eye processes things, which isn't psychology to me. Because like, isn't psychology the study of like human behaviour or like the mind and human behaviour? Is seeing really a human behaviour? Like, this to me is a biological module, and it sucks. I'm not the biggest fan of lecturers. I dislike the content, and I don't think it's very well explained. And then like, I look through the slides, and the slides just regurgitate the textbook, which we've already been told to read. So I'm like, well, why? Why? Like, I don't really understand it, and I literally did biology at A-level, and I couldn't tell you anything. We also had, we get marked on MCQs, like throughout the course. We have 11 sets of MCQs, 1 per week. They're worth 5% overall, but then again, you're going to get normally distributed. So I think my raw mark on the MCQs is like, well, first of all, the MCQs are stolen from the textbook, so you can Google the answer. But they've changed some of the MCQs into an MRQ when there objectively isn't a second answer. So you can't get them correct. So like, even though I literally Googled the questions, like, I mean, I think I Googled them from like week 4 onwards because I didn't realise that you could Google them, because I was like, oh, they wouldn't make them Googleable questions. No, they did. They just took them from the textbook. So everyone in America has just put them up as a Quizlet so you can steal their answers. Even doing that, I think I only got like, it was like 85 or 87%. They're going to normally distribute that down to probably like 72, probably less, probably like a 68, which means that 5% is then redundant because it's useless. We then had group coursework where we had to make an illusion and like discuss the illusion. First of all, didn't ask. Group work, hate it, horrible. I'd rather do that on my own. Like, I don't get why it would be a problem to let me do it on my own. But like, it's also only worth like 20%, so again, it's kind of useless. And then our final exam, we're writing 2 essays. Developmental and perception need to swap their assessment methods. Perception is a cognition module, which means it shouldn't be an essay. It should be a short answer question set, it should be MCQs. The content doesn't make sense, and I can't turn it into an essay. And basically, I hate perception, so I think it's just going to go an absolute shit show because I thoroughly dislike it. We then have my optional module, which is Crim Psych. Now, I love Crim Psych, but we've had problems. So, it will objectively as the best module I've done in my whole degree. And you know, that says something because it's the only Crim module I've taken. So clearly psychology modules are just quite bad. It's going in best of a bad bunch. Because it is technically the best of the bad bunch, but it's not good. It's not the best. It could be good because we are assessed on a 5% quiz online, which I did get 100% on, so like, thanks for that. Again, with that got normally distributed, not sure how Crim works. And then we are assessed on a 95% report. This report is pretty much the same as empirical. So our empirical studies, we have A, B, C, D. Like, Unit A was a regression, B was a survey, C was a something else. Like, runs along pretty much the same. So like, it's quite easy. You literally get set it at the beginning of the semester, as in we got set this in February or whenever the term started, which meant that you could start whenever you wanted. So I had like Unit A and B and most of C done before like even Easter hit. So like, people did complain that there wasn't much time, but like, they're just bad at time management. Like, there wasn't any problems with that. They just don't do things. The issue then comes with Unit D. Unit D, so all of the other units we are handheld through. Like, they tell us exactly what we should be doing because, you know, it's on stats and people haven't always done that. They make sure that you know how to do it. Unit D is just an essay. You know, 1,200 words on how has criminological psychology affected our understanding. How has criminological psychology research affected our understanding of a topic of area or something? In her slides, it's one slide, and it just says, this is a bit like a lit review. Or like, this will be a lit review, like in your 3rd year project. Bestie, we're not in 3rd year. We've not been taught a lit review. We do not know what a lit review is. How do I review the lit? And also, how do I write an essay in 1200 words when I have to do a lit review, but also answer the question, but also I don't know what I'm doing? And like, the PowerPoint slide she gave us is one slide, useless, completely irrelevant. And then apparently in like an optional drop-in session, she apparently like walked people through how to do it, but didn't upload anything. So if you didn't go to that optional drop-in session, which was never indicated that it would be about the essay, if you didn't go to the optional drop-in session, you didn't know how to write the essay. And funnily enough, I didn't go to the optional drop-in session because first of all, optional. Second of all, I'd finished crim by that point. I'd done all of I finished my report. I finished my report ages ago. So my essay could be entirely wrong. And I did email her like 3 days before it was due, being like, bestie, have I done this wrong, or like, what's going on? She didn't reply. And like, I love the lecturer, as in sometimes I would email her and she'd reply in 3 minutes. Sometimes I would email her and she wouldn't reply for 5 days, and I would resend the exact same email and she'd reply in 5 minutes. So I'm assuming her emails just get lost, but like, the Unit D was just so poorly done. Everything else was fine. The content is actually interesting, like I actually care. Criminological psychology is what I like. I like socially psychological stuff. I'm not a massive cognition person. I like real world application stuff. This is real world application, social psychology on interesting stuff. So like crim psych was kind of good, but then obviously kind of bad because of the essay. So like, thing is, because it was all one deadline, like I could have done really badly in Unit A and that might pull down my overall grade for that. Whereas like if I was given, or like I could get given like a 70 in Unit A and then like next week I submit Unit C, and then like that would have been better. Like it should have been broken up into 4 deadlines essentially, but it wasn't, which fair enough, but like, please. We were also given like no examples. And like, because Unit A is just, you are objectively correct or incorrect, you put a hypothesis in, I submitted it through Turnitin, and like my plagiarism for Unit A is 19%. Because there's nothing I've said that's new, because I have to literally, like, we all reach the same conclusions, like we all say the same thing. Like all of my other units have like no plagiarism in, but Unit A is just pure plagiarism, because they've done this unit before, we've all submitted the same thing, we've all said the same conclusions, we all have the same hypotheses, like, you can't say it in another way. So, yeah. I think this is looking better than first year. I think it's more top heavy than first year. It doesn't get better. Still don't like my degree. I'm hoping third year will be better, but we don't know anything yet. As in, we don't know what an empirical project is, we don't know how it works, we've not told anything about it. I don't really know how the optional modules work. Basically, things are going really well here in Southampton. Loving it. Really great stuff. I will probably leave a comment under this if I have any like major glaring opinion changes after the exams, which I will also vlog, but like, I don't think perception's going to get any better. I don't think developmental's going to get any better. I mean, developmental could get worse, but yeah. So that's how I feel. You might notice I'm quite negative towards my degree. Yes, I think you would also be quite negative towards my degree if you were in the same university doing the same degree as me. Like, I'm sure if you were in another university, you might be like, yeah, fair enough. But like, even if you're in the same university as me doing a different degree, you might be like, God, why is she so negative? Come and do the psychology course and trust me, you'll hate it too. It's not very well run. It's not very good. It's not very interesting. Like, I know that there are things you have to do for the BPS, but like, they could teach them better. And like, they could make the assessment methods not bad. And then like, even though I would dislike the module, it wouldn't be assessed in a stupid way, which means it would not reach the level of absolute shit show, essentially. Yeah, so that's everything I have to say. Yes, I was very negative. I'm a very negative person. And probably, potentially the next video you'll get will either be like a day in the life, or it will be the exam vlogs. So, can't wait for those. The exams are going to be